Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Coffee? With Todd? Let me answer that question for you. I think yes. What's up, y'alls? Good morning. Welcome to Sunday, November 20th. Just a few days away from Thanksgiving. It's 27 degrees out here in the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont. We had a little light dusting of snow last night, and now the sun looks like it's going to come out. So that's good news. That is good news. It's good news that the sun's coming out, not that it's 27 degrees and snowing.
72, please.
72 degrees in November? We were close.
I know.
We did have 70s. Was it in November? It was in November.
We actually did.
It was.
I just liked it.
Yeah, I did too. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun show this morning. I've got cartoonist Nate Fakes coming on the show this morning. Nate Fakes does the syndicated cartoon strip Break of Day. There he is, right there. Look at that dude. Just tuning away. Well, he does a syndicated comic Break of Day on GoComics.com. One of my favorite cartoonists. I follow him every single day. And we're going to get to meet him and talk to him about tuning and his new graphic novel, A Fade of Light. So that's coming up on the show. Of course, we've got some cartoons of mine to show you. And, one song. We'll do that in a second. I'll play a song. But I'm going to keep the show moving along fairly quick because I want to get Nate on here and I want to yap. I want to have some coffee talk this morning. Yes, Christopher Roy beat me to the punch. Chris, if you hang on till after the intro, I'm going to sing that song for you. I learned this song right here, just for Chris Roy. Morning, Al. What's going on? Good morning, Lindy. Chris, yay! I don't know if it's going to be good, but I learned it for you. It's not what I usually do when I sang songs. All right, let's get ourselves a cup of coffee, shall we? My favorite part of the day is that first cup of coffee. And on Sundays, it's extra special because I get to share my favorite part of the day with y'all. Having some coffee. All right, we're going to set that down for a second before I make it my least favorite part of the day and spill it on me lap. Bart, good morning. Down in Florida, where it's not 27 degrees.
It's 72. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
It might be 72.
I don't know if it's that one.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
I know.
See that around 11 a.m., that little flake? Snow.
Snowflakes?
It's only 30% though. I think we're good. I don't think
Sun's trying to go out.
believe it or not, we got like rain on Friday in the forecast. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, let's top that off a little bit. Let's get that first cup of coffee and let's get the show on the road. On the road. Oh, Bart's heading home tomorrow. Don't do it. It's cold. Stay in Florida. No, I'm just kidding. Cool. Well, maybe we'll see you when we up. Maybe we'll see you when we up.
Yeah.
I need more coffee. All right. Let's get this show on the road. Grab yourself a cup of coffee. I will be your Todd. Coffee with Todd and special guest cartoonist Nate Fakes is all coming up right here. righty. You know how Mr. Rogers used to come in and he used to sit down and he'd take off his outside jacket, put on his inside jacket or vest, which were like almost the same thing. And then he'd take off his outside shoes and put on his inside shoes. That's what I feel like when I pour a cup of coffee. Howdy, neighbors. Let's have some coffee. Hey, Shanna. Shanna in a dress. What's going on? Holly. Oh, that's right. No hockey, I believe, this weekend. So we've probably got the gang watching. So to Kate and Leah, to Holly and Ryan, to Champ. I almost forgot. Sorry, Champ. I almost forgot your name. I assume Jordan may be home from school. Anyway, good morning, Rosemary. Did I say good morning to my dad?
Nope.
I didn't.
You did to Lindy.
Ah, right. Well, good morning to Dad. All right, on the show this morning, I'm very excited. Cartoonist Nate Fakes, who does a syndicated cartoon feature Break of Day on GoComics.com, is with us. He is logging in as we speak, and we're going to be talking to him, showing you some of his comics. It's going to be super wicked fun. Super wicked fun. How New England is that? Oh, Ryan's in the woods. That makes sense. Yes, he is in the woods, hopefully getting himself a deers. A deers?
He's getting more than
Just
one.
get one.
Just get one.
Ah, yes. All right, well, as usual, we'll do this real quick. If you'd like to support the show, them's are the links below. Hey, you never know how far your support could go. You might help me pay for the internet, you know, if you support the show. Oh, man. Yeah, supporting the show. That's one way to do it. Tell your friends. Share it among your social media. Any way to get the word out there. Coffee with Todd. We always have a good time. We always have coffee. That is for sure. Now, it is the second week of deer camp. And there's literally only one time a year where I would ever be able to sing this song. And Chris Roy has asked me to do it for 2 years in a row. So, Chris, I have learned the second week of deer camp. I don't know if I learned it well. Sing along at home if you want. Well, it's the second week of deer camp and all the guys are here. We drink, play cards, and shoot the bull, but never shoot no deer. The only time we leave the camp is when we go for beer. It's the second week of deer camp, the greatest time of year. It's the second week of deer camp, I got a swollen head. I'm lying with the dust balls underneath the bed. An icy breeze is blowing into the tongue and groove. My pants are frozen and I'm too sick to move. I didn't drink too many, just 30 cans of beer. It must have been the last shot that put me under here. Cause it's the second week of deer camp and all the guys are here. We drink, play cards, shoot the bull, but never shoot no deer. The only time we leave the camp is when we go for beer. It's the second week of deer camp, greatest time of year. I remember playing poker, that weasel must have won. He's wearing my new Swampers and sleeping with my gun. He's snoring like a chainsaw, the camp smells like a dump. Someone's dirty underwear is hanging on a pump. What? Weird. Oh, Mickey's in the wood box, Wiener's on the stove. His flannel shirt is smoking, I wonder if he knows. 'Cause it's the second week of deer camp and all the guys are here. We drink, play cards, and shoot the bull, but never shoot no deer. The only time we leave the camp is when we go for beer. It's the second week of deer camp, the greatest time of year. Beetle's crawling through the door, I think he's got frostbite. He's passed out in the outhouse and been there since last night. Goofy stumbled through the door, he says he got a buck. It's coming from the wayside and he hit it with his truck. Well, Musty cracked a beer and he said, let's celebrate. Goof has caught the first buck since 1968. Well, they never leave the camp, 'cause it's the second week of deer camp and all the guys are here. We drink, play cards, and shoot the bull, but never shoot no deer. The only time we leave the camp is when we go for beer. It's the second week of deer camp, the greatest time of year. It's the second week of deer camp, the greatest time of year. There you go, Chris Roy. I know I don't have the shotgun sound effects or any of the other weird stuff, but, you know, I tried my best. Once a year. Awesome, he says. You're welcome, Chris. It'll be a very rare occasion that you see Todd Pronto play the second week of deer camp. Can I sing along at work? He says, of course. Good morning, Marie. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. All right, let's get rid of this thing. All right, coming up, I see him pouring a cup of coffee in the background. His name is Nate Fakes. He's a cartoonist at gocomics.com. Who's texting me? Oh, okay. It's Nate. He says he's ready. Okay. All right. Real quick, let me just show you my cartoons because not only is Nate a cartoonist, well, I is too.
You is too?
I is too. I do these things called midlife thesis cartoons. Wow, so clever for a second, and I messed it up. Midlife thesis. You can check it out at midlifethesis.net. Ooh. Or on Facebook or YouTube. No, not on YouTube. Facebook or Instagram. Each and every week, I put out a cartoon on Wednesday morning and again on Sunday morning. And here is the cartoon that came out Wednesday morning. Speaking of the second week of deer camp, and who was it? Weasel hit the buck with his truck? Well, Carl, he's got a hunting trophy of his own. I like this one. I forgot to put the little white around their noses on this one. Around the deer's noses. The good thing is I can go in and fix that later. And today, bright and early this morning, a new cartoon came out. Everybody's looking for that one super special secret hunting spot. And when you find it, you never give it away. I'll give you a second to read that.
I don't know if you're going to find deer there.
No, but he's got a coconut.
Yeah.
So, you know.
That's pretty cool.
He won't starve. He won't starve.
Fish.
He'll eat fish and he'll drink coconuts. Here on Gilligan's Island. All right. let's get Nate Fakes on here. So I am really excited to meet Nate. I've been a fan of his for a long time. Um, he's just a funny dude. His comics Break of Day can be seen every single day on gocomics.com or on his Instagram, Nate Fakes. So I think it's cartoon. Hold on. I think it's just Nate Fakes, but I better get this right before I get him on here or he'll yell at me. Yeah, Nate Fakes. Nate Fakes. Go follow that dude. But you don't have to follow him too far because he's here and he has a cup of coffee. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get him on the show. My new friend, Nate. Nate Fakes is on the show with us, and let's see what he looks like in real life. Oh, all right.
Kind of looks like me, maybe. I mean,
Yeah, it does.
I don't have a
Yeah.
straw in my coffee though. Dang, I know I was missing
Not.
something. I missed one element. Damn. Well, next time I'm gonna have to get that right, but I was fairly close. I think the hair is kind of mostly the same, and the black shirt, I
Yeah.
have that. So, okay, good. I'm pretty happy
Are
with
you
that.
like Are you like Steve Jobs? Do you always wear the black shirt and the jeans?
It's funny you say that. Um, yeah, I'm no style expert or anything, and I just prefer wearing a t-shirt. And typically
Yeah.
black or dark blue just really works well because if I spill coffee on it, for example, you don't notice.
Right.
And
Perfect.
um, so yeah, I wear them out quite a bit. It's kind of I guess my style, but I don't want to be a Steve Jobs or anyone that has like a wait, what am I saying? I don't want to be a Steve Jobs. He had a lot of money.
Yeah. Wait.
Um, how do I put this? Yeah, I don't know. I'm all over. You'll typically see me in a t-shirt. I'll just keep put it that way. And yeah,
There
usually it
we
is
go.
black.
Perfect. Hey, I wear
Oh,
black too. I wear black because people tell me it's slimming, but I don't think it works.
well, yeah. Funny, yeah, that too. It's usually, yeah. Sunday mornings are consumed with donuts on my end. Um, that's one great
Yeah.
thing about where I live. There's all these donut shops, and I tend to go donut hopping. Uh, so black does really well for that.
You're in
So.
LA area?
Yeah, outside of yeah, it's the LA area, but I'm outside of it about 50 some miles. Um it's funny it's still considered a suburb. But
Yeah. Oh,
it it's a ways out. But yeah, it's the LA area. I'm actually closer to Palm Springs than LA. But
oh, okay.
this whole it's fine. I just think all Southern California is about the same. It's all lumped in together pretty much at this point. So,
Yeah. Be like for us, like once you get to Connecticut, you're basically in New York.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
been
are
out
you?
that way.
Are you from the West Coast originally, or are you a transplant?
I am a official transplant to California. I was born and raised in Ohio. So,
Okay.
yeah, I grew up in Ohio. I went to school in Ohio, and from there to I've lived in quite a few places. I lived in Kansas for a while. I've lived in
Yeah.
Florida. I interned at Mad Magazine in New York City. So when you mentioned Mad, I know, or when you mentioned New York, I know the how that's all yeah
No, New
lumped
York.
together there. But so I've lived on the East Coast, and then yeah, I've been out in California now since 2000 early mid 2018.
Yeah.
So kind of new
So
still, I guess, a
Ohio,
little bit.
Ohio's,
Ohio.
Ohio is kind of a has kind of a rich tradition of cartooning. Actually,
It
is it
does.
the Billy Ireland Cartoon Museum and libraries there? There's a bunch of cartoonists from Ohio, so
It really
it must
does.
run in your blood. Yeah,
I guess. Yeah, presidents and cartoonists, Ohio.
it's a good
It's
state.
crazy. And yeah, it's like searching for Bigfoot too, trying to find Bill Walterson. He's there somewhere. Never
Oh,
comes
he
out of
is in
Calvin Hobbes.
Ohio.
He is. And
Yeah, Chagrin Falls, or or so they say. That's where he was from and where he based Calvin and Hobbes on. But I don't think he lives there anymore. Or maybe I think he lives in the International Space Station.
I this day and age, how do you go that long without even having a recent photo or anything of there's what if you Google his name, there's one little black and white photo that pops up and that's it from like 1980
Yeah,
something. How is
yeah.
that done these days?
He's like Robert Johnson, the blues musician. There's like two known photos of him.
Yeah.
You would think that somebody, I'm obviously not advocating stalking or anything, but you would think with the rabid fans that Calvin and Hobbes has, me included,
Yeah.
somebody would go to where he lives and just sit on Main Street waiting for him to come in and get a donut or something.
That's what I figured too. I mean, he's got a shop. I mean, I'm assuming he goes on vacation once in a while or something, and yeah, it's just no nothing. It's that I know of, at least online, and
Yeah,
I know a lot of cartoonists in Ohio and elsewhere, and as far as I know, no one's really seen him. So, maybe
amazing.
I'm guessing he exists. We have Calvin and Hobbes that but
Yeah,
yeah, it's really odd to me. He just doesn't come out of hiding or his house, or I don't know. Maybe he lives in a cave up in the Cleveland area somewhere, and
maybe.
uh, yeah, I have no idea.
I, I don't know. It is pretty wild, but yeah. And there's even that. Have you ever watched the Dear Mr. Watterson, Amazon Prime or whatever?
I have, yeah, I have watched that. Hmm.
Yeah.
It's been a while,
You,
but
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, I watch it every now and again. It's kind of a neat love letter to Bill, and they go to his hometown, and they say they weren't trying to find him, but I think they were looking for
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. You wouldn't want to try to find him. I
him.
wonder what his response would be if people did find him. Would he be angry, upset, start throwing
I
Calvin and Hobbes
don't
books at a person? I don't know.
know.
Yeah,
No
I don't know.
merchandising. Yeah.
Get off my lawn. Uh,
So this is Nate Fakes, by the way, everybody.
Hi
Let me
again.
see. We should put our names up. Did you type your name in? Nate. All
Um,
right, perfect. Yeah,
yeah,
Nate.
that's my name. My last name is spelled, yeah, Fakes. That is my actual last name too. It's not
It
fake.
is.
I get it all the time.
It's not a fake name fake last name.
As far as I know, it's my official name that I was born with, not born with, but got in Ohio. I think I got to find my birth certificate sometime to make sure, but pretty sure it
Well,
is, as far as I hear.
it's a cool name. It works well, and it's it's something that people remember, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I'm like one of the last of the Mohicans. There's not many of us out there. There's a few other
There's a
faces, but
few.
not many. I think I'm the only one in California. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
but there's a few floating
Fakeses?
around out there. Faces,
Is
yeah.
that how they say it? The fakeses is? We're gonna go over to dinner at the fakeses is.
Yeah, I've heard that mentioned said that way a few times. The
They say
fakeses,
that in
fakes.
Vermont. That's that's how we do it here in Vermont. So Nate has a syndicated cartoon. You can read it every day on gocomics.com. It's called Break of Day, and we're going to be talking about that. In fact, I'm going to show you some of those cartoons. And he also
Oh
just
boy.
put out a graphic novel. Yeah, I chose my favorites. Let's do
Okay.
the most recent one that I was able to grab. There's this one came out on Friday. There's been obviously a couple since, but this one made me laugh very hard. By the way,
Good.
I
I'm glad
love
you
that one.
laughed at it. This had
Oh,
Even this being so recent, I had a few interesting reactions to it. I had some people message me saying unfollow or unfollowed,
I believe it.
and yeah, and I had a few just like disgusted comments, and I'm
Yeah.
like, majority, no good. Like that's typically the case. I'll get, 90, 95% higher or higher than that, pretty positive comments on it. But once some of them just baffle me. Like you unfollowed. I really want to get in their brain. Like, what was it? Was it the do you think I'm trying to make you worship a turkey, or do you think it's new
Yeah.
religion I'm trying to pitch, or what was it
Yeah.
that really
It's like
made you hit that unfollow button on Instagram?
they think it's sacrilegious maybe, but it's I mean,
I don't know. I'd love
you
to
gotta
pick some
have
brains sometimes, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because I'm afraid God knows what would happen
yeah.
doing that with some of these people. But anyway,
You don't want to
it's
be one of
fine.
those people that gets in a Twitter war with their followers and
Exactly. I always, if you
no.
unfollow, I am not heartbroken, and my comic is not for you. If that's something that
Yeah.
offend
I
hasn't
Your
offended or
comic's
anything.
not a very offensive comic. I mean,
It's very
I've seen
mild for
yeah, I've
in
seen
terms of
some that
what's out
are
there.
it's not too vulgar. Ah.
Oh,
But
that's a perfect segue. There you go.
it
Yes.
is. And of course, being a musician, I gotta love this one.
That one, I was really hoping I'd win the most awful pun of the year award for that one, but I haven't received any notification yet that it's in the mail or coming.
Ah, it's a classic. That's one of the older ones too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a few years old, probably
Yeah.
4 or 5 years maybe.
And I have more, but since this is Coffee with Todd. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Oh,
Oh,
that's a
hey,
good
you get
one too. Since this is
that's the drink from my
oh, from your picture.
yeah,
Yeah,
look at
there it
that.
is. This is the one
See?
I meant to hit.
Oh, there you go. And that fun fact about that, I was mentioning before the show, I was having a little issue with my coffee maker, and that's the actual coffee maker I was having issues with. I
That's
used
the
as that
one.
used as a reference for that one,
Oh man.
and I hit the button and it wasn't making coffee, and I didn't think I'd make this on time because yeah, I had to have my cup of coffee with the show, but it
Yeah,
worked. It
absolutely.
worked.
You know, at Keurig,
So
we drink so much coffee that we've burned up like two or three Keurigs. And so we just go with the full pot now. But I want to get one of those single serve ones for like, you know, you get home early in the afternoon and you just want one cup. You don't want to brew, you have to clean the filter and you have to clean the tray and rinse out the pot and blah blah blah, you know. But
yeah.
I guess I'm in a relationship.
It happens.
It
Yeah, I
happens.
used to not want one of those, the single serve coffee makers. I was kind of against them. I had the full pot thing my whole life, basically, until well, a year and a half, 2 years ago, really. They're new
Yeah.
to me. But I love them
Oh,
now, yeah, just for that. You want to, I mean, just like for this, want a cup of coffee and just brew it and find myself in my studio working on those awful puns and things, and I'll forget that I have a full pot of coffee down there, and then try to drink that 2 hours later. It doesn't taste that great.
no, no, it
So
does not.
yeah, this is much better. I love them.
So is a cartooning something that I always find this fascinating. So is cartooning something you always wanted to do? I assume that you started drawing at an early age because most artists do. But is it something you always wanted to do, or did you want to follow like another path, art wise, or maybe not art wise, but was just fell into cartooning?
No,
How did it all
this
come
was
about?
always it, and I feel pretty
Yeah,
fortunate with that. I hear it from a lot of cartoonists that it's kind of the same situation. It just, I started with probably in diapers with crayons, and I always mention my biggest break I had, which really set the path to becoming a cartoonist, was in fifth grade. We had a competition amongst my whole class to draw the elementary school yearbook cover, and
yeah,
so I entered it, and I won, I won $5. And
sweet.
that's when it dawned on me, like, wow, you can actually make money at drawing, cartooning. So, yeah, the $5 really that's when I realized it wasn't just for fun. Like I could actually make a living someday doing this maybe. Because I didn't even think, the newspaper cartoonists, I thought they just did it for the fun of it.
Oh yeah.
Growing up, who doesn't just love to draw? I mean, so and
Sure.
the
Yeah.
animated shows and stuff. I thought it was just all for fun, but then I realized, oh, you can make money at this. So yeah, went from five
$5.
dollars.
It's a pretty good prize for how old did you say you were?
Oh man, I was well, fifth grade, so 10, 9, 10, I
Yeah.
guess. And yeah, $5 when you're that age, that bought a few candy bars, or I'm
Yeah.
sure I forget what I spent it on. I'm sure it was that.
Probably.
Um, so yeah, it was like a fortune tip for me. I just remember feeling rich off that $5 I made. So yeah, I took that, and then in college I worked for it's called the Guardian, the newspaper at school, and I was a staff cartoonist. And there I
It,
made 125 every 2 weeks, and that
oh
was
wow.
big
Is
money.
that the Guardian, like the Guardian that you see online
Oh
still,
no,
or no? Okay. It's a
no,
different
this was at
Guardian.
yeah Wright State University in Dayton, Ohio, and
Okay. Okay.
they had a physical newspaper at the time. Unfortunately, they don't anymore, but called the Guardian. And so yeah, every week I'd supply two comics. I did a funny one, actually Break of Day. That's where it started. Um,
Oh yeah.
I call I call it Break of Day back then, even in college. It looked hideous. You don't want to see the old college newspaper day comics.
No.
They're pretty bad, pretty awful. I used a Sharpie and I used just really yeah. I'm not trying to knock my. That's how you learn and you grow. But they were pretty. I
Yeah.
don't like looking back at them. I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I did the
Yeah.
Break of Day as a funny cartoon, and I also did an opinion piece. For some reason, they wanted my opinion on something because I could draw, and
Yeah.
so I was just
So
taking it.
like an editorial cartoon or something.
Yeah, I've never been much of a political guy, so
Yeah.
once in a while I would they'd request something political, I'd put it in. I didn't even know what I was talking about or what I was doing really, but I did a few of those, and most of them were though just about issues at college, like finding a parking spot, the cafeteria food, you name it, stuff like that.
Right.
So,
That's
but
cool. But that got you, because you mentioned Mad Magazine. That got
yeah,
you an internship at Mad Magazine.
that was the highlight of it all. I sent a batch of my college. I call them awful, but it did land me the internship job at Mad. I sent a batch of comics into them, and um, I wasn't even going for an internship. It was funny. I wanted to just send them in and see if they'd want to publish any of them or hire me for something. I don't know, a cartoon. I didn't know how they operated. So I
Right.
sent a package in, and then yeah, they got it. Called me up and asked if I wanted to intern with them. And yeah, that was just a dream come true. I didn't even believe it. I'm like, are you serious? You guys really want me to come out to New York, work at my favorite magazine in the world for the summer? I'm like, that was just, it was
That
nuts
must have
because I
been, yeah.
Mad was a huge influence as a kid. That's why you see, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
the awful puns and things is because of Mad. Just I
Are
grew
they
up.
right in Manhattan, or are they in a borough?
No, they were right. No longer, but when I interned, right on Broadway in Manhattan, right across
Oh,
from the Ed Sullivan Theater. In fact, that
oh,
building,
really?
like
Wow, that's
seven.
some prime real estate right there.
Oh, it was awesome. It was really awesome because you looked out the window, you had the Ed Sullivan Theater there, 1700
And
Broadway. I remember the address even.
yeah, wouldn't MTV have been there at that point too?
Yeah,
Or were they
MTV.
times? Yeah, I remember MTV being pretty close to the Ed Sullivan Theater.
It was, yeah, not too far away. I remember it because I used to walk from Penn Station to Mad every day. Because the one thing was I couldn't afford to stay in Manhattan. It was an unpaid internship, so I,
Perfect.
yeah, it's
That's a
so cheap.
cheap city to
Well,
not make any
yeah,
money in. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's so cheap to live there. Like it was no big deal, of course, to not make any money, but yeah, I found a room for rent in New Jersey, Berkeley Heights, New Jersey. So I ended up taking the train into Penn Station every day for the internship. And coming from Ohio, I didn't know anything about the subway system or the best way to get around. So I would just walk it. I walked from Penn Station to Mad every morning throughout the week, and then walked back in the evening. And but yeah, I'd walk past MTV, and it was this really happening place then. I'm sure it still is. I haven't been there in a while, but yeah, it
They're
was.
you said they're not there. Are they still based in New York, or are they just kind of run online
Yeah,
now?
in not they're not based in New York. They the end of 2017, yeah, 2000 like December 2017, they moved their operations actually out this way to Burbank,
Oh yeah.
California.
Oh
Yeah.
no way. Okay.
So it was yeah, and now yeah, they just how do I put it? Mad's just not the same. I think there's two people on staff, and they're mostly just printing reruns, and
Yeah.
some new material here and there. But when they moved to Burbank, they brought on a whole new staff. Nobody from New York came out.
Huh.
So yeah, it was really interesting. I don't know exactly what all happened, but magazines in general just aren't doing that great. And so
Sure.
Mad was just kind of I know they cut the
Yeah.
budget, and unfortunately they're not doing too great, right? As well as they were. I mean, because there's no new material. So, but
Yeah. That's too bad. I'm sure it was cool though. Was it like? Have you seen the episode of The Simpsons where Bart Simpson gets to get into the reception office of Mad
the
Magazine,
Mad, yeah,
and
it's just
he's
like
all
that.
excited, and then they open the door, and Alfred Newman pops his head out and yells at the secretary, and there's all this zaniness behind the door.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. You walk in, and then there's a
Yeah.
big Alfred that comes out and greets you, and there's this stuff flying around, zeppelins in the air. Yep, it's just like you see on The Simpsons.
Yeah. So what'd you do after Mad? You didn't stay in New York, I don't think.
I really wanted to stay. I, and I didn't know how to, it was, it was an internship, but in my head, I'm thinking, God, I'd love just to be employed. Forget school. I just want to stay here. I don't want to even leave. So I really wanted to stay. It didn't work out that way. So it was funny. Well, kind of sad at the time, but the day after the internship, I went to serving pizzas at Pizza Hut.
Oh, wow,
So,
that's a
because I didn't have any money because again it was unpaid internship, and I didn't know what to do next. But long story short, I mean, from that internship, I had a great connection with them, and then eventually I was able to get some comics published in Mad, and I wrote for them a few articles, and
that's
to this
cool.
day, I still keep in touch with some of the gang from Mad Magazine. In fact, in my new graphic memoir, I have my Mad internship in there, and have a few guys from Mad I reached out to and said, "Hey,
Oh,
can
cool.
I try to draw you, put you in there?" And they were cool with
That's
it.
great.
So
Yeah, I definitely I want to talk about the memoir, but a little bit more about leading up to the graphic novel for because you
yeah,
also I did my homework, so I know you also worked for Red Bull,
I did.
but you
Uh,
don't have wings.
they're
Huh.
tucked away in my
Oh, all
black
right.
T-shirt. Now that's really kind of why I wear these, just to keep the Red Bull wings
Oh,
back. But
yes,
I'm
polo
trying to
shirts
keep it.
don't contain wings.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep a little hush hush, but that's okay. So
So
yeah,
so yeah, what did you do at Red Bull? I know you worked there, but I don't know exactly what you did.
yeah, that's really why I'm out in California. I was hired from Ohio, and they brought me out here to work in an agency. It's called the Kastner Agency, and they were responsible for the Red Bull commercials that you see on TV and everywhere else.
Yeah.
So my job was actually staff cartoonist. That was my official title.
Wow.
You don't hear that often.
No.
So I would my days consisted of writing storyboards for commercials, coming up with headlines, um, just yeah, punny headlines for static ads.
Yeah.
Um, worked on some radio commercials. I'm trying to think, just a little bit of everything. When you think of advertising, um, pitched a lot of
Huh.
ideas for the actual television commercials, and yeah, it was a really interesting and fun experience to do that.
Do
I
they
say
do their
interest.
animation in house or do they ship the animation out?
Well, that was the interesting part. The animation was not in house. It was actually in Germany, and so
Okay.
and Red Bull is based out there too. The main headquarters. So a
Oh,
lot of
I didn't.
times
Makes
part of my
sense.
job was we were trying to describe why this is funny to everyone in Germany. Like the language barriers sometimes got in the way. We would find something hilarious on our end, like this isn't funny, and like no, it's funny because look, and you know what they say when you have to explain a joke.
Right. Stupid
So that was
Americans.
yeah, it was rather interesting. And my creative director would have sometimes like 6 a.m. meetings with the time zone difference, and it was interesting. Yeah, but it was awesome. It was a good time. I enjoyed it, and it was fun to try to come up with these. I give them credit for just thinking outside the box. I wish more companies would do that with cartooning and
Yeah.
comics and animation. I love how they held on to their old school animation. To this day, you still see them out on TV.
Yeah, kind of like shaky line, kind of.
Yeah, very shaky lines and
Advertising's interesting. They're good at it. There's a handful of companies that are very good at it. I don't know if this is just like me getting older and like, I know humor is generational to a certain extent, but like I feel sometimes ad agencies are slightly lazy or not clever as they think they are or something, and a lot of
oh
commercials
yeah.
fall flat. Um, the best one I think currently right now is that Liberty Mutual commercial where they say, research shows that people respond well to ads of young people having fun. And then
Oh,
it's just these young people partying in a pool with like their apps on their phones of Liberty Mutual.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is hilarious. That's kind of like Red Bull. Red Bulls, they're funny. It helps.
It totally helps. I know what you're talking about. I think all these insurance companies they're nailing it. Like those are the funniest
Oh
commercials
yeah.
these days. A lot of
Yeah,
them.
they kind of are.
The
I
guy,
don't care for the Limo Emo so much, but
yeah, there's a few that are hit or miss, but
we
they,
should be careful though because that guy lives in Stowe, Vermont, which is about an hour from where I am.
oh
So
yeah, don't
yeah, we don't want to make him mad. He might drive up here.
yeah, definitely not. Definitely don't want to do that.
So
But
you're syndicated at gocomics.com. So for my audience that doesn't know what that means, can you explain that a little bit? We have one newspaper up here. It's called the Newport Daily Express. We have two newspapers. One is a monthly. Now it's a weekly
monthly new.
newspaper. It's a
Wow,
monthly newspaper.
dang,
No.
that's a stretch. Okay.
Yeah. It's a weekly newspaper. They don't run cartoons.
Mm.
Um, but the Newport Daily Express, which is the daily paper, has a cartoon page. Uh, and they just run King Features cartoons. They run like seven of them. Um, which is the arch nemesis of Go Comics.
A little bit.
But syndication used to be that when you opened up your newspaper, there was pages and pages of comics, and on Sundays they were in color, and they were sent to you by all the syndicates. And Go Comics still does that, but you do it a little bit differently.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the golden days of the newspaper. I wish that was back.
Oh man, I know.
'Cause that was the dream, like just to be syndicated and that be it. Like that would just be like a Charles Schultz or Bill Walterson sitting around drawing comics. But times are changing a little bit. Newspapers are still out there, and there's still
Yeah.
comic sections. But Go Comics is the yeah. If you don't know, check it out. GoComics.com. The most of the mainstream comics, I'd say. There's a King Features website too, and then there's Go Comics. But I'd say most of the mainstream comics are on Go Comics,
Yeah.
including Break of Day. And it's just you could read all the newest cartoons for free, and you can create an account, set up subscriptions of what ones you like, and every day you can go to it, look it up, and your comics will be right there for you, waiting first
Yeah.
thing in the morning. So
And it's not that expensive. I did it. Is it $20 a year?
I think
It's
something
not
like that, which is
it's
worth.
not a lot.
Yeah, you can get it, you can go there for free and browse, but if you do pay, I think yeah, it's like $20 a year. There's no ads, and
Yeah.
all that money goes to for Cartoonist as well, so it's a win-win. but
Yeah.
it helps the experience going to it much more than the free one with ads popping up here and there. But yeah, no, it's awesome. I've been on Go Comics since 2011, so quite a while.
Oh wow. Wow.
Um, and yeah, what else is there to say about it? It's just it's the I guess yeah. Well, it's the new comic page basically from instead of
Yeah.
newspapers because you can get everything right there and it's catered to whatever you like. So
Yeah, it's like YouTube TV. You can choose the channels you want to watch or the comics you want to read, and you can put them in the order that you want.
yep, exactly.
You're third on my list, by the way.
Oh wow, nice.
We
Okay.
we have Bill
Eh,
Watterson first. We have
okay,
Charles Schultz is second, and then Nate Fakes is third.
man, I'll take that.
You,
I'll
I have
definitely.
you, I have you above Stephen Pastis.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's that too is a. I'll definitely take that as a compliment. I was if you had I won't I can't say names. A few others before me. I don't know. I'd question it a little bit, but no, that's awesome.
I
Stephen Pastis
obviously.
too. I
Oh yeah,
he's
I I like single panel cartoons, but I have to do Calvin and Hobbes and then the old. I guess you're fourth because I have Peanuts and then Peanuts Classics.
okay. That's
So
all.
a double feature of Charles Schultz.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
lumped into one, but no, that's all. All the
Yeah.
yeah, I don't blame you at all. I have them too, both the yeah, all of them.
How does is that the only place that they syndicate you is just on Go Comics, or are there does some newspapers still like run a comics page on their website
Yeah,
or
believe it or
no?
not, I'm actually in a lot of newspapers. I have to kind of discover them on their online. They have their own comic pages, and a lot of times you can find
Right.
my comic on there too. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like I don't know exactly how they do it. I guess they pick and choose what they want to put in it. And it's just like Go Comics with a comic section, but I believe a lot of these newspapers these days you can pick what comics you want to read on there too.
Oh
Um,
yeah? Huh.
yeah, it's I've noticed that. So and I stumble across my comic and yeah various newspapers online. So it's out there. Yeah, it's in
That's cool.
various platforms and then self syndicated as well. I have it. In fact, the local paper here has it in print.
Cool.
So
That's cool.
it's yeah it makes the rounds and it gets licensed out too. You'll find Break of Day on greeting cards.
Nice.
It gets licensed out just for all kinds of things, presentations, um, publications, yeah, you name it. So they're all available to license out. You can do that as well. So
I kind of hope that and this just could be our age because or I'm assuming we're about the same age. Are you Gen X like I am?
oh yeah, yep,
Right on.
definitely
Yes, we're
proud of it.
disgruntled. We're angry at the world. I miss especially the Sunday paper, but I miss the paper every day. What baffles me is the newspaper industry obviously is on hard times. Less people are buying physical newspapers, but comics were created in the newspapers originally to sell more papers because it was something like, oh, this comic has Blondie. This newspaper has Blondie, and the other one doesn't have Blondie, so I'm going to read this newspaper. And you would think, with newspapers having a hard time, that they would do everything that they could to have something unique and interesting in their newspaper. And instead, they just run more Associated Press articles.
That's
So
it.
I think we need to start a petition and go around to all these newspaper offices. No, I'm just kidding.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm on board for sure.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. I preach that all the time. I mean, like sometimes I wish I was a in the business, I guess, because I think it would have the opposite effect. If you had like a full page of a graphic, like I get the LA Times delivered here,
Mhm.
and they do it on Sundays especially. They'll have a like a full page of a comic describing something of what's happening, and they're so cool and unique.
Yeah.
And if newspapers would feature more comics instead of slashing them out or getting rid of them, they
Or
would
shrinking
do,
them
yeah,
down.
shrinking them down. And then, as much as I love Peanuts and the legacy comics, I'm not saying get rid of them, but bring on some fresh material more and just
Right.
really, just like they do with television or any other platform. Like comics is just the one medium where you can have like a comics peanut strip from 1950, which again, I love. I'm not saying don't get rid of them, but
Yeah.
it takes the place of something that could be fresh or new also. And just,
Right.
so yeah,
Yeah.
I think newspapers could be doing better because I like to read print. I mean, I know, yes, Gen X grew
Yeah.
up with it, but I think there's also, I don't, it's so weird. I don't know. I wonder like if the generation now would ever go to print or newspapers, or not the way they are now. I know that, but if there is something that
No.
could be done to, kind of like how records and vinyl sales are up.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know
have
if
a
there's anything there.
I have a theory that the hipsters are going to save the industry. Um, I, I,
Possibly.
my theory is that people that have grown up knowing nothing but this
Yeah.
are going to find the um, the experience of reading a physical magazine or a newspaper or a book more pleasurable eventually, because screens are, for our generation and our parents and maybe some millennials, I think uh, this technology is new and exciting. For my nephew and my niece who have grown up, they were born and they were handed an iPhone.
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
I think maybe, possibly, because you hand them a book, like a children's book, and it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I'm counting on hipsters to save
Yeah.
everything.
Hipsters will save the day. I hope. I think,
So you
I mean, oh, I was just going to close on, I think books seem to be doing well. Like I remember back when e-readers came out, I was really terrified that books were going to go away, physical books. And
Yeah,
that hasn't, that never, has happened. And I think as far as I've heard, e-readers aren't as popular as
yeah.
they actually were, and physical books are doing pretty good. So there's
I
hope.
I think it's more fatiguing. I can't read a book on my iPad.
I can't either. And
No,
not just because I
it's
don't want to. I've given it a good shot. I've tried,
yeah,
and I just
yeah.
I like to read an actual book.
I
So
had a friend write a book and send me the manuscript before it was published, just to read it and get some, feedback. And I printed it out because I just I couldn't read it on a screen. I printed out, you know, a ream of paper almost just so I could.
yeah.
Man,
So,
get off my lawn.
you know what? I
So
so like
being a syndicated cartoonist, that means you have to come out with a new, like, I draw two cartoons a week. I do Wednesday and Sunday. But you have to do every single day.
yeah, I have reruns here and there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, yeah, I'm always cranking out new material, and um, yeah, I'm so used to it now. I'm not,
Well, so that's what
it's
I was going to ask. Like, what's your writing process? Do you just have a notebook full of ideas, or every day do you have to come up with a new idea, or?
yeah, that's it. Yeah, here it is. It's right on my chair. I just use an old school notebook, and
Yeah.
every day I try to, if someone asks how do you write material in comics, and I always just tell them, I swear it's just a routine. I every day for about a half hour to an hour I'll write. Um, some days there's nothing. Some days there's like a week's worth of material, and I can't figure out. I don't know the system of getting the good days when a lot comes out and days when things don't. But I think even the days when nothing happens, I think that's important somehow. and it makes for those days when a lot happens. So it's just a matter of routine, and I'll do the best I can. And a lot of times I'll write something and there's nothing there. You can see, kind of just like I have awful.
Here, let's bring you. I'm gonna bring just you into the mix.
Okay, so you can see just it's a bunch of scribbles and nonsense, and just it's hard for me to read my own writing half the time on some of this stuff. But the little star, if you can see that, that means it's something I think has potential for could be a good comic. And so yeah, I'll just go through. I'll do with my writing routine. A lot of times, something might be close. I like know something's there, but not quite what it is yet. And I'll go back and look at it a few days later. Then like I'll have that light bulb go off. Like aha, I got it, and write something out, and something comes out of it. So. But for me, some cartoonists they draw first and then come up with an caption, and me, I come up with the
Huh,
writing first and then draw. I've never been able
yeah.
to. I'll have a funny visual in my head, and some more often than not, I can't think of a good joke for it. Then I wish I could think of an example, but like a funny image will pop up in my head, and I think, boy, that would be a funny cartoon. But then when I actually get down to drawing it out, I'm like, wow, I don't have. Damn, there's like nothing funny here, so I can't even use it.
Right. Huh. It's
But
interesting drawing first, and I get it's like when the New Yorker does the caption contest, I suppose.
yeah, it's like that. And yeah, some cartoonists can do more of the visual first and then the writing, and I've never been able to do that.
I read an interview with you. I don't remember who it was from, but you talked about something that I find really fascinating. Um, Being a songwriter and writing my own cartoons, you talked about limiting the amount of words that you use to get the point across. I don't. That's not exactly how you said it, but you said something like, I try to trim it down and just to the most effective words.
Yeah, totally. That's a key too. Just to,
Yeah.
I will edit and edit and edit and trim as much as I
Hmm.
can out of a comic because I don't know, and I don't even know why that works better. Really, it's just a mental
It
thing
does.
I think for readers. But the simpler the better is the
Yeah.
key. And if you can put no words even and have a funny comic, that's I love those. And those are
Yeah.
rare. It's not it for me at least. It's not easy for me to
They're
have those.
harder.
Or if like
Yeah.
one word is great too. Um,
Yeah.
dare I say my most popular comic is the I have an old telephone and a bunch of cell phones running in yelling grandma.
Yes. Yes. I've
I don't
seen
know if you
that
know him.
one.
Okay. Well, that one has
Yeah.
been like I see it to this day, and it's funny. It feels so outdated for me now. If you look at those cell phones, those are from I think I created that back in like 2011 or 12. They're like little just track phones that you don't even see these days. So but it's just that one word. Um,
Yeah.
and so when I can do that, yeah, I just um, but the goal of the comic too, and this is why I like gag comics. I have a short attention span, which um, so when I read comics, I like to read them quick, and I create the kind of comic I'd like to read, which is just quick to the point, no extra words, and hopefully, if I'm lucky, funny. So
Yeah, man. I mean, it works the same way for songs. Like you write a verse out and then you edit it and edit it and edit it, and you get rid of words like well and the and Jim Davis talks about like a max of he does it Garfield, obviously, for those of you that don't know who Jim Davis is. Um, 3 panel strip. He's 25 words or less,
oh wow,
and
okay,
yeah, and I kind of take that to heart just because I look at a lot of newer cartoons on Go Comics, or not as much on Go Comics, probably because those people have been vetted and syndicated, but on Instagram, that like I don't read them because it's just word jumble and it's too much. It's too much information. Too much.
I'm that way too. I just it
Yeah.
just has to be my attention span. Um,
This
Yeah.
is a Nate Fakes cartoon that I absolutely love because I love Sesame Street. That's a good
Bert and
one.
Ernie.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, I had to as a avid fan of Sesame Street growing up too. I was happy to make that one.
This
So,
is the how am I gonna? This is where you can find Break of Day on Go
oh
Comics.
yeah, there it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Slash slash. It's weird with these. Yeah, looking at Zoom, I'm like, where's? Oh, okay,
It's all backwards.
it's all
I'll
backwards.
I'll put the link to your website in the description and everything too. I could probably ask you 400 more questions, but I don't want this to go on too long because it's usually only an hour show.
Ah,
But we want to get to the next thing I want to get to is your graphic novel. But before we do that, um, do you work traditionally at all, or are you all digital at this point? Or
I used to. Yeah, I was always a pen and ink guy for the longest time until 4 or 5 years ago. I'm now 100% on
yeah,
my iPad Pro. Actually, is all I need. That and Photoshop in the computer just for the
yeah,
captions. But yeah, the iPad Pro, man, these, I was telling aspiring cartoonists too. I mean, for the you can't beat it. And I use a software called
yeah,
Procreate.
yep,
Um, I think it's $10 in the App Store, something like that.
yeah,
And I have a iPad Pencil, Apple Pencil, whatever,
yep.
whatever they call these, iPencil. I don't know. And this is
I
it,
think it's an
huh?
Apple Pencil. I think it's
Is
Apple
that the
Pencil. I
technical
think.
name for it?
I think. So. Yeah.
But you can see yep, there's
Hey,
the
there's the
one
one.
we were talking about earlier, the controversial turkey. But yeah, I love it, man. It's so. What's great is I loved ink too, and I never thought I'd go just digital, but especially with
Yeah.
Procreate, not just Procreate. There's Photoshop is on here as well, and they can all kind of do it now. But you can fine tune these pens and the coloring just like you would
Yeah.
doing it, on paper. So it's fantastic.
It
And
saves it saves a lot of time, I bet.
oh yeah, I'm known to mess up quite a bit as well, and so digital. You can erase it without messing up the entire
Yeah, it's just like an
sheet of
etch a
paper like you
sketch. You just
do.
grab it and you go like this.
Yeah, you shake it and
Whenever you screw
it
up,
turns
you just
out
shake
good.
it out.
I do the same thing when I'm itching for a good joke or I don't think one's funny. Like, funny, come on, is it
Yeah,
funny
you know,
now?
if Procreate put that in there instead of the double finger tap, I would use it all the time.
Yeah, make it more fun. Keeps you active while you're drawing, and yeah, why not? That'd be a good thing
Do
to
you
pitch.
but you still use Photoshop, you said. Is that what do you format in Photoshop like cuz I'm assuming the syndicate needs a certain aspect ratio or
Yeah, I don't
something?
do much in Photoshop. Really, just the bare bone. The only thing I use Photoshop for is so I take it from the iPad Procreate. I send it to Photoshop, and Photoshop is where I type in the captions.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
add the copyright, and I'll crop it as well. And that's it. I mean, just the simple stuff. Which now you can technically do it on the iPad as well. I just find it's I don't know, it's easier doing Photoshop, and I just do
Yeah.
it that way. And other than that, no, I used to do all the coloring and everything on Photoshop except for the inking I do on actual paper. And then I'd scan it, my old school scanner, and then upload it into Photoshop and color it that way. But yeah,
Yeah.
not anymore. It just I don't need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
I think most people are doing it that way now. I still do both. Um, I do if I can do it in ink, I will, and then I'll color it in Procreate. Um,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I still
I don't
draw.
always have
Not
time. I don't always have time for that.
exactly. Who has time to do with the yeah? There's no time for that anymore. Um, yeah, I'll still draw for fun sometimes. And you saw yeah, I mean, like when I'm writing, and I do the little sketches while I'm writing too, and that's all on the cheapest notebook pad I can find.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the whole thing. Someone was telling me I saw an awesome background colorist. It's real quick on a YouTube the other day, and it's a new one called Adobe Fresco. I want to try out. I just uploaded it on here.
I've heard
But
of
it looks
it.
pretty sweet. Yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah.
looks like Procreate a little bit, but you can do some neat similar thing. I think mostly the same stuff, but maybe some new things too. And I'm gonna check it out and see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give it a go.
Photoshop for the iPad's not quite. I think there's too much packed into Photoshop to make it function on an iPad.
Yeah, I know they
I
tried,
tried.
and
Yeah.
it's just
I
not.
think they really
Yeah.
geared it towards photographers, which is probably smart, you know. But
So it's interesting to me. I've never. It's funny. I don't know any photographers that use Photoshop, but I know every cartoonist and illustrator out there. It should be
yeah,
called
right?
Illustrator Shop or Drawing Shop or
Yeah.
something. I don't
Draw
know.
shop,
Draw Shop. There
art
you
shop,
go.
draw shop,
Art
draw
Shop.
shop.
I mean,
I mean, it's
that's
going to be a better name than Procreate.
yeah. I
That's a
know.
hilarious. It's a hilarious name.
I still feel funny mentioning it because I don't know where they got that from. It's such a but
My
I
guess
don't know.
is
Yeah.
professional creator is my guess, and then
Oh,
somebody in the, and
yeah.
then
No, I think you
somebody in
nailed it.
and then somebody in the boardroom was like, "Wouldn't it be funny if we called it Procreate?" And they all went, "Ha ha ha!" Yep.
Yeah, that must be. I think you know. I never thought of that. Procreate. Yeah, Procreator probably, and that's
That's
probably
my.
what. Yep.
That's a
Then they
guess. I don't know that for a fact.
latched onto the wordplay in the boardroom, and that's how it came about. I'm sure.
Yeah,
And I wonder
it's
if they
got to be.
expected
That's
it to
why
get
you.
this big.
I don't know. Yeah, it's still only $10, or it might be 12 now or
Yeah,
something. But
it's dirt
yeah, I
cheap, and
don't
it
know.
didn't used to be the go to platform. I'm not the only one, the cartoonist, professional cartoonist that uses that. I know a lot of them out there do, and it's
Yeah,
not. It's such a yeah, just hands on, and I love it. But
it's
the
super
name, I don't
easy to
know.
learn too.
Yeah,
Well,
it is.
let's talk about the graphic novel before I let you go because Thanksgiving is right around the corner and that means Black Friday and that means Christmas shopping. And if you're looking
Hey,
for somebody to shop for on your Christmas list this year, well, you should check out this brand new graphic novel by our guest Nate Fakes. All right, was
brand
that good?
spanking new.
Was that
That's
good?
pretty good. That's a good pitch. I like that.
I used to
Yeah.
work in radio
What? Oh, okay. I like that. That's
back in
good.
the
That's better
day.
than I can do. It's got the right price too. For only 19.99, you can get a
Ooh.
brand new, straight out of the printer, graphic memoir
Straight out of the
from.
printer. Would you recommend people go to? I know it's on Amazon because I saw it on there. Is that the place to get it, or does the public? Is it better to go to the publisher?
You can anywhere you'd like to buy your books, you can get a copy of it. It's in bookstores. It's on Amazon. Yeah, anywhere you like. I always say, hey, support your independent bookstores as well if you get a chance.
Yeah.
And they've been awesome with keeping them in stock as well. So, but no, I whatever is best for you to get your books, I'd say just go for it. Um,
We we buy my niece and nephew's books for Christmas every year, and we went to our local ish bookstore. We live in the very northeastern corner of Vermont. I can hit a golf ball to Canada with where I live, which
oh,
means
nice.
we have to drive a distance to go to things. And so the bookstore that we usually go to, we do have a local bookstore here, I should mention, but it's mostly uh, used books and stuff like that. So we went down there and they did not have your book in stock, but they were going to be having your book in stock because people had been asking about it, which is very cool.
Oh, cool. Okay.
In New Hampshire of all places. Um, but I did it the old fashioned way and I sent Nate money on PayPal.
I I
That's
saw
the
that and
old
I
fashioned
appreciate
way.
that. I Your copy
Yeah,
is sitting right behind me here.
cool.
I'm gonna snag one. I will sketch in it and send it your way.
That'd be great. And
But
I'll send you one of these handy dandy mugs. What
well,
is
yeah,
I
well, I you shouldn't have paid for yeah, we should have I don't know. I was
ah
gonna say could have done a fair trade. I mean, because I go through my coffee mugs here too. But
oh, hey, that's fine.
anyhow,
I mean, I'm not paying you to be on the show, so I figure.
wait, what?
Oh, well, it's too late
It's been
now.
fun.
Nate Fakes, everybody. Real quick before, because we are going to wrap the interview up, but Fate of Light, it, just a quick synopsis. I know it's based a little bit on your relationship, from what I've read, with your stepfather. Yes.
Yes. So yeah, I'll give you a quick rundown of it. It's my stepdad, who I met back in high school. A real zany guy, act like Jim Carrey, just funny, outgoing, goofy. And unfortunately, he came down with a rare form of dementia. So the
Mm,
story goes back and forth from past to present on how he went from that to the point where, yeah, he couldn't really talk anymore. Um, that being said, though, I mean, it's not just such a all sad story or anything. It explores from what it's hard for me to explain it to. I just did a blog article about it because there's so much more of the story because it's about step parents, it's about cartooning also, and then mostly about dementia and just how me and my family and everybody, we didn't know what was going on. He just started forgetting things, and he didn't act like the old Jim
huh,
Carrey like he used to.
right.
So it explores all that, and I just take you on the journey of what I witnessed, and then it also has some factual information about he came down with, it's called Pick's dementia, and it affects younger people. It's a little bit different than Alzheimer's, and it affects mostly behavior instead of memory. So his
Wow.
behavior changed and everything. So it's the whole story of that, and
Wow.
a lot in between. When I say a lot in between, it's got I mentioned my MAD internships in there, how he helped with that a lot, um, and with
Yeah.
cartooning, and ironically, the book itself. And it's about step parents too. A lot of people frown upon their step parents. I didn't. I had a good. He was goofy and embarrassing growing up, and I talk about a lot of that. But came to love him, and he was a great stepdad. So it's the
Cool.
whole story.
I'm anxious to see. I've read the first 3 pages or whatever it is that Amazon lets you do with the look inside.
Yeah,
You know,
which is
oh, I just going to say it's in black and white too. It's not full color, which I think is kind of endearing because it just looks like I don't know. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It looks classic. Is that the right word?
yeah, and that works. Yeah, and color wouldn't have worked well for this book. I'm glad I did it in black and white. I used it
Yeah.
when you it's kind of a washed look for it, and I play with a lot of fading in it. It's called a fade of light because it's kind of what it was. Ron, his name was Ron, my stepdad, and he was such a light, and just eventually faded.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so I play
Wow.
around with that a lot in the book, and yeah, the black and white worked really well for it. And
How many
the
pages
Amazon
is it?
232. So
That's a lot of drawing, man.
it took me 2.5 years to from basically coming up with the idea of doing this to completing it. Um, it
Wow.
was a long process, and but it's
Wow.
a easy read. It's a quick read, and again, it's I'm getting really good feedback for it, just from a lot of different
Yeah.
perspectives. And like I mentioned, it's hard for me to talk about it in one like sentence because there's so many elements to it, and I don't want you to think it's just
Yeah.
all like doom and gloom and sad either. It's got just a lot of
Right.
different aspects to it. But yeah, I'm really proud of it and happy it came out, and it's quite the journey to do a graphic novel. I mentioned I have a short attention span as well, so it's challenging, but really rewarding too. It's just such a different
Yeah.
from a gag comic to this. um, was a
Right, something that takes you three seconds to read, or whatever they say, to
yeah,
something that takes you 3 hours to read. Let's say, I don't know how long it takes, but
yeah. It was just totally new for me. This is my first time creating a graphic novel, and
I thought
so
you were gonna
yeah.
say it was the first. I thought you were gonna say it's the first time you ever read a whole book. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that too. Yeah. I thought to myself, I really should read a book someday. So why don't I just
I'll
create
just
one
make one.
and then I'll have
Hey,
a book and I can read it.
yeah,
That's a good
right.
idea.
There's something to
So,
that. That's how I started writing songs. I never learned other people's songs. I learned a couple chords on guitar and just started writing my own. It's the
that's
same
how you,
thing.
yeah, it's the
For
best way to
those of you
do
that
it.
don't know what a graphic novel is, it's not quite a novel and it's not quite a comic book. It's kind of like a mixture between the two. It's a written story that's illustrated, uh, basically 100% illustrated. It's not like, remember when you used to read the Hardy Boys and it was like 3 or 4 pages and then there was an illustration and then three or four
Yeah.
pages and then it's not that. It's all illustrated like a comic book, but it's also a novel because it tells a story. Am I
I'm
correct?
getting that. Yeah, that's it. And it's so funny. The people that I've been contacted by that have read it, like, wow, I've never read a graphic novel. I don't even know what that is. And they think graphic novel, like graphic what? It's violent. It has
Is it
nudity.
obscene?
Yeah. Like, no, 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 no. It's a graphic. And then it's also a graphic memoir. So I have to explain. No, it's not me taking a shower with nothing on. Uh, it's all drawn and written. So
Yeah,
anyhow, yeah, you
that's
nailed it.
that's
Yep. I
amazing.
so I wrote and drew the whole thing.
I can't wait to I can't wait to read it. I'll be looking in the mailbox for my copy next week, and you'll have to look in the mailbox for your Coffee with Todd coffee
I
mug.
cannot wait
And I'd
to.
love to have you back sometime because I like literally have a list of questions for you,
Oh,
and we didn't get to them all. But it's an hour long show. We've talked for more than an hour, and I was on before you came on, so um,
whew.
we're gonna have to wrap it up. But that only means I can ask you, will you join me again sometime here on Coffee with Todd?
Yes. In fact, when you send me out that mug, I will. If my coffee maker's working good, I'll use that actual mug for my next cup of coffee. I'm
Yes.
on, and I can't wait.
Awesome,
Definitely.
man. So let's
So,
do this. Let's throw up. Let's throw up.
well,
Let's throw up.
oh, that awful pun did it to me.
Let's
Uh,
throw up the Go Comics link. Your website is it nfakes.com?
yep, that's it.
I forgot to
nfix.com.
write I forgot to write that down, but if you want to see the comics, this is the place to see the new comic every day, right?
Yeah, yeah, check it out. Go Comics and Instagram too. I'm very active on. I'll post a lot of reruns, new comics, stories, and sometimes pictures of my cats and anything else that comes to mind. So I'm on there too, quite a bit. Um,
Great.
Nate underscore fakes. But
Perfect. Yeah,
yeah,
I'll throw all that in the I'll throw that all in the details.
right
The
on, man.
details.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, come
Well,
find me and chat. Say hi.
let's do one more comic. I didn't show this one. There we go.
Oh boy. Yeah.
He's about to have a bad day.
Yeah, that was. I forget. Yeah, I was gonna elaborate
That's
on that.
not based on a true story, is it?
No, 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 no. Is we do have bears out here in California, up in these mountains, but I no. I was gonna say yeah, I did not get that reference photo from taking an actual photo of trying to feed a bear. I was trying to think where I got that from, but
I
yeah, I
like
have a
it.
few of those. Death is a heavy subject in some gag comics sometimes, or
Okay.
yeah, or on the verge of, I guess, but in a funny way. Like
In
you
a
got,
funny way.
yeah. So anyhow, if you're not reading
Well,
an
it's
awful pun, you might be reading about a bear mauling, possible mauling taking place.
it's a new adventure every day.
It is. It's something new every day that happens there. Break of day.
Can we do a cheers? This is how I like to end my interview. We just kind of do a virtual cheers.
Oh, totally. I hopefully I won't
Don't
break my
drop
screen.
Yeah, don't
Uh,
drop it on your computer. You
all
don't have to
right.
hit your. Ready? Cheers.
Cheers. All right.
All right, there he is. Nate Fakes. Oh, Danielle's gonna throw my AirPods everywhere. There he is. Nate Fakes, cartoonist extraordinaire. That was super fun. That was super, super fun. All right. Wow. Yeah, Tristan, we'll figure it out. We'll get the money to Nate and we'll have him sign it for you.
Oh, cool.
I'm very excited to read it myself. All right. Wow, has this show gone on a long time? But it was super fun, right? I'm so excited I got to meet Nate and talk with him. I've been following him for a long time, so that was super cool. I was going to end the show, but let's do one song real quick because... Oh, my plug-in's way down there. Well, I don't need to plug in. Tina sent me a message and said that her granddaughter is turning 18 today, and we wanted to do a special shout out to Paris. So happy birthday to Paris, and she wants me to sing a song for her. So Danielle helped me pick out this song because I wasn't sure what to sing. Well, when times get hard, I don't get down. It's easier to walk when you stand. Well, I may not have a whole lot of money, oh, but I'm just fine with who I am. Now I've had ups and I've had downs, oh, but I'd do it all over again. As long as I have you here, the devil will never win. No, the devil will never win. The devil will never win. As long as I keep on keeping faith, the devil will never win. So some dreams get lost in space and some stay here on land. So I keep 'em moving along with every chance I can. 'Cause the devil will never win. The devil will never win. As long as I keep on keeping the faith, well, the devil will never win. to put bumper pads all around here because I just every week I slam my guitar into a different table part. Yay! Thanks, Tina. Happy birthday, Paris. 18. A milestone. All right, that is the show. I would like to thank my guest, Nate Fakes. Don't forget to check out Nate's cartoons at, oh, where did his website go? I had it on here. Go Comics, Break of Day. Dun 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 dun. And in the link of the description of this show, depending on the platform you're watching on, some of it's above the video, some of it's below. I have links to Nate's website, to his Go Comics, and to order his new graphic memoir, A Fate of Light. It is all on there, and thank you so much to my guest Nate. That was so much fun, and we're gonna have Nate back because it was a fun time. Thanks, Marie. Yes, great week. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all you as well. Thanksgiving Thursday. It doesn't seem possible, does it? But it is. Oops. All right, Tristan, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure Nate will be happy to sign those books. We'll be getting mine. I got to send him a cup. Don't forget me. Send him a cup. A mug. A mug. A mug. A mug. A mug. A mug. All right. Thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me that every Sunday morning y'all tune in and you have coffee with me and share the Sunday morning shenanigans. Yeah, it's awesome. It's so cool. It still baffles me that people tune in every single morning. Oh, there it is. It baffles me that people tune in after 2 years. They still want to see my ugly face. That's so cool. What? Well, you're stuck with my ugly
It's
face.
not ugly.
She has to
don't
say that.
smile are ugly.
She has to say that.
No, I don't.
All right, have a good Thanksgiving, everybody. Don't eat too much turkey. And if you do, don't drive. Don't eat turkey and drive. Is that right? Sure.
Don't forget the pie.
Don't forget the pie. Don't forget the pie. Be safe. Be well, everybody. And we will see you next time right here on Coffee with Todd. Next Sunday, 9 a.m. All right. Cheers, everybody. Love you.